Hello, I'm Morgan Williams and welcome to the first edition of Usc Tv News. Sunshine Coast locals feel violence is increasing in Alexandra Headland. Residents say as the sun goes down, the beachside town is becoming known as a primary location for violence and crime. After dark, golden beaches are turning into something unknown to locals. Residents fear crime and violence in the Alexandra Headland district is becoming out of control.
You're starting to see a lot of glassings and a few stabbings kind of creep into the scene now, and it's just, I don't know, it just seems to be just filtering up.
A month ago, 22-year-old Alex Beach resident Justine Jones was murdered in the area. A memorial setup gives a chilling reminder of why residents feel the coast is changing.
In the time that I've been going out, like around the drinking precincts, like Mooloolaba, Alex, Maroochydore, whatever, I think it's got worse.
A resident who wishes to remain anonymous says she has witnessed drug deals, sexual assault and brawls right outside her doorstep. And it's not just the men getting rough. Residents say girls are up for a fight and a beer.
Yeah, boys versus boys, girls versus girls.
I don't think people are trying to rebel. I think people these days are drinking more and more often.
The Sunshine Coast District Police say they work with strategies such as the One Punch Can Kill campaign and promote the responsible consumption of alcohol to university groups, kids at risk and international students on the Sunshine Coast. The Sunshine Coast Regional Council are working with stakeholders and police to reduce violence on the coast. Morgan Williams, USC TV News. Commercial and recreational fishermen have come together to protest tough new angling restrictions. Locals joined a convoy travelling from Gympie to Clontarf to oppose the marine closures they say would damage our businesses and lifestyle.
Boats under tow and not on the water. It's a rare sight on the Sunshine Coast on a Sunday. Conditions for fishing are perfect, but local boaties remain on dry land, leaving Karoi to join a convoy against closures and taking a stand against fishing bans.
Everyone that wants to fish in Tin Can Bay and the 13,000 square miles they want to close will come and fish on the close reefs here.
Bruce McLean helped organise the local convoy and says the added pressure on local fish stocks could lead to closures closer to home.
And they will come along and try and close those down, because the ultimate aim is to shut down fishing all around Australia.
Proposed recreational and commercial fishing closures are now in place for a third of Australia's waters, a decision Mr McLean says wasn't properly researched.
Let's get some independent scientific analysis.
Protesters say a Tin Can Bay interest group recently travelled to Canberra to present a report to Peter Garrett on closure concerns, only to be snubbed by the Environment Minister on the day.
Everything that we do, whether it be commercial or recreational, is deemed sustainable by Peter Garrett's own department. Are they pulling the wool over our eyes? Have they wasted our money?
Protesters fear restrictions will affect not only fishing and tourism industries, but lifestyle on the southeast coast as we know it.
My family deserves a place to fish on the weekends, and commercial fishermen deserve a place to harvest fish sustainably for the rest of our population.
These fishermen vow to keep up the fight. Taya Lacey, USC TV News.
With a federal election just around the corner, the Sunshine Coast Greens are on a mission to prove they're more than just an environment party. Local candidates are hoping to convince voters the balance of power should rest in their hands.
The Sunshine Coast Greens have been hard at work on the campaign trail this week to prove they're serious contenders in this year's political scramble. Candidate for Fisher, Gary Claridge, says Sunshine Coast residents are very green-minded.
People here on the Sunshine Coast want to have a green way of life. So, beautiful beaches, surf, green hills, and we want to try to keep that feeling.
National support for the Greens has surged in recent months, reaching a peak of 16% in April. However, political analysts at the University of the Sunshine Coast say the increase isn't enough to unseat the region's current MPs.
The Greens will get a vote here. They always get a reasonable vote here, but it won't, I'm sure it won't translate into a Green candidate.
This election has seen the Greens run their biggest advertising campaign ever in an attempt to hold the balance of power in the Senate. If the polls are anything to go by, they're up to the challenge.
We're seeing over the years that the Green vote slowly increasing. And in fact, last federal election, there were over 1 million Australians voted one Green.
Laura Hegarty, USC TV News.
Aquana Water's mother has released a new series of children's books this week after struggling for years to find suitable material for her own boys. The Scratch and Patch Chronicles were created to provide youngsters with rough and tumble heroes of their own.
Being a full-time mum, teacher and author, it seems no task was too difficult for Angela Buetti. But when she tried to help her sons to learn to read and write, she found there was little that could help her.
I found it pretty hard. I was actually amazed that there was a lack of material focused on topics that boys find interesting at that very beginner levels.
So now this mum is on a mission, creating her own children's book series, The Scratch and Patch Chronicles. And the books are proving to be school and family favourites.
Scratch gets his
fishing rod
and Patch gets his
surfing rod.
The books follow the naughty and fun adventures of two cheeky little monsters. And parents are also getting a kick out of the story's lines. Not only are Angela's books a great and beneficial way to teach young boys how to read and write, but it's also been a great way for young girls as well.
It's great to see our target audience really enjoying them and getting excited about reading.
Her two sons were her inspiration.
These two little monsters get up to lots of mischief like most 6-year-old boys do.
Oscar had a funny insight, however, into why his mum created Patch, the mischievous monster named after him.
Because I've got long fingernails and that before.
The Scratch and Patch Chronicles are available at most retail bookshops and can also be seen online at wowbooksforboys.com. Kayleigh-Ann Beasley, USC TV News.
While Sideshow Alley is a popular attraction at Brisbane's Ekka, for many of the Sunshine Coast kids who travel down, the show is more about the animals. We caught up with 4 young locals who look forward to pitting their skills against the state's best.
Kurilpa Simon Drew breeds and sells turkeys and chooks. No poultry pastime, his prize-winning birds have the judges clucking, coming away with champion Japanese bantam.
For me, the Ekka is all about the animals. If there are no animals, there'd be no Ekka.
Officials report a 20% increase in crowd numbers compared to last year.
Warmer weather and the absence of swine flu was credited for the surge in attendance at this year's show. But for many kids on the Sunshine Coast, the attraction starts right here on the Nambour High School farm.
Nambour High School students were called in to run the dairy farmers' milking demonstration.
It was warm when it went through this machine.
Students Beth and Emma are part of the team, thrilled to be able to bring a little piece of the farm to the city.
We brought our cows down from Nambour State High to show people how we hand milk the cows. We also show people how we machine milk them.
The farming experience has led the girls to want careers as vets, proving living on the Sunshine Coast is no barrier to a life on the land.
We help out at the school because the school's got a full running dairy on the school grounds. So we go over there and milk most afternoons and help out with all the cows.
Of course, no visit to the Ekka is complete without a look at the equestrian section. Karoy's Hope Burling hasn't missed a show her whole life, and she's been riding since she was just a toddler. As the Ekka draws to a close, Hope's got her sights firmly set on next year's competition. James Drew, USC TV News.
Locals on the Sunshine Coast have proved you don't have to be square to go square dancing. The Sun Coasters Square Dancing Club have welcomed enthusiasts from all over Australia to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the hall.
As pouts are perfected and shoes are tied and shined, these golden oldies are all smiles as they take to the dance floor. With a swish of their skirts, the dancers twirl onto their stage to celebrate the 25 years of the community hall.
The people who dance here really feel that it's a home for them. They've now become accustomed to just coming to this place and not having to go anywhere else to look for their entertainment.
Square dancing has changed the lives of so many, and it's thanks to this hall that so many people on the Sunshine Coast get this opportunity. This event is hosting people from all over Australia. These two have been dancing for the past 38 years and are certain it's what keeps them young.
It's good exercise without getting too strenuous, but it's really great for the mind.
But the big question is, where are all the youth and what is it that's keeping them away?
I think mainly because of peer pressure. It's not the cool thing to do, and kids just want to go out, maybe get, drink and get drunk.
If we could get the young people in now, we could learn a lot from them and they could learn a lot from us.
In the meantime, the toe tappers are looking forward to the next 25 years. Jessica Taylor, USC TV.
In sport, the Kawana Waters Swimming Club is celebrating one of its most successful carnivals as its junior teams dominated the recent Wide Bay Championships. The star of the meet was 11-year-old Chelsea Grubecker, who smashed 5 Queensland records and produced an Australian first swim.
Chelsea Grubecker may be small, but she tore up the record books at the Wide Bay meet with her personal haul of 5 Queensland records and 5 gold medals.
I was really happy that I didn't think I'd do those times.
The most impressive of those records came in the 800 metre freestyle, where Chelsea became the first 11-year-old in the country to break the 9-minute mark with a swim of 8:59.86.
She's an extremely bright prospect, yeah. One of the best 11-year-olds I've ever seen, that's for sure.
The Kawana Club is used to winning, having produced talent such as Samantha Hamill and Nick Darcy. Swimmers Chelsea is hoping to emulate. What do you really want to do, swim in the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games? Or?
Probably both. I love I love watching it on TV, so if I could make it to that, that'd be probably my biggest goal of all.
She and her teammates are the new breed of champions at Kawana, and they're beginning to get used to life at number 1. The club brought home a record-breaking 25 medals from the recent carnival and boasted 7 age group champions.
It was a great weekend. I think being the coach up there, I think the most rewarding thing was seeing the whole group perform really well.
But reward doesn't come without a price.
You wake up every morning, you got to kick yourself. We got 8-9-year-old girls in the squad that are doing 8-9 sessions, and still every session they're walking in with a big smile on their face.
Daniel Duncanson, USC TV News.
That's USC TV News for now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Morgan Williams. Bye-bye.